We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
Hello, and welcome once again, everyone, to another Tuesday where your guy, your dressed down CEO, Tyrone Glover, brings it to you in the manner in which we all deserve, which we all must have. And no pulling any punches, no sidestepping. We're bringing it to you just as hard as possible because these topics mean a lot. These topics mean a lot. And talking about money is something that we all are going to have to get comfortable with. We're all going to have to find our way to be able to talk effectively and efficiently about subject matters that we have always seen as taboo. So thank you once again, everybody, for being here. It's always I look forward to Tuesdays the most because it's those days where I get to literally display that what I know everyone is deserving of. And I'm constantly going to keep using that word today because we are deserving of financial literacy. We need to have these things. We need to elevate our understanding. We need to level up our understanding when it comes to how we're using our resources and our money. Today, I'm going to be talking about credit scores, statistics, that which, again, you follow football, you follow baseball, you follow hockey, you follow soccer, you follow any of these sports. These athletes have stats. They have things that show whether they're good or not so good. We're going to be talking about that today. We're going to be talking about the data by age, by gender, by generations. We're going to really be diving in. Where are you and where should you be today? If you're at a certain age, if you are a certain gender, if you're at a certain position in your life, you might be in a position where your situation should be a little bit better. It should be greatly or even more improved. And if it's not, now you're going to get the opportunity to address it and hopefully do something about it. Hopefully change it to a positive. These are now times where we can look at ourselves and look deep in ourselves while our country is going through a pandemic, while it's going through renegotiation about debt ceilings, while it's thinking about improving the lives of millions by adding another $5 trillion to the economy. These are the opportunities where we as a citizen now get to sit back and think about, am I going to be able to capitalize on some of that? Well, you will be if your data is correct. Now, I didn't say anything about your score, even though credit scores are what we're talking about. I said your data. Your data makes up your score. All right, but I'm definitely going to dive into the data piece because I want you all to really get a good understanding of which age groups. There's some age groups that are doing very, very well. There's some age groups that could be doing better. But if you're not in those age groups, if you're not in that higher tier of those age groups, you might find yourself falling a bit short, not getting the items or getting approved for those particular things that you're looking for. So this would be a great opportunity to take, again, 1 hour of your time. Make that time. And as always, I ask everybody, you got a few minutes, go ahead and do yourself and me some solids by sending out some invites. letting somebody know, hey, the guy who talks a lot about finance, the guy who talks a lot about credit, the guy who talks a lot about making sure that we are going to have some form of financial stability, he's back on again. And he's doing it all over again. He's bringing this new knowledge, this new understanding, this brand new situations that we are finding ourselves in. He's actually providing valid, valuable information that can help you get out of these circumstances. I'm looking forward to the individuals who are in these moratoriums. I would love to, as an expert witness, meet you at a courthouse, meet you on a Zoom and walk you through step by step how you can get out of these understandings. I'm not talking about those who did it purposely. I'm not talking about those who did it because they were in hardships. I'm talking about everybody, every single last person. You got to understand something that you don't understand. This pandemic was not brought on by me, wasn't brought on by you. It wasn't brought on by your neighbor. So I can tell you right now, as someone who deals in the financial world, in the money world, in the business world, I can help you. Erykah Badu said it. Call Tyrone. That's all I'm going to say. Call Tyrone. All right. So before we get started, I always like to give my shout outs to some of the amazing people who do some great things in our community, some amazing people who do some fantastic things, not just in our community, but for those of us who look like us. And one of those individuals is Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, an amazing person, someone that I can call a mentor, someone that I can call a friend, someone that I can call, someone that I can truly say I dearly appreciate. And I'm so happy that she has made me part of her financial family and that I can come and share with you guys every single week. And if you're not already, and if you don't already, please get on social media, get on Facebook, join us right now, and make sure that you get one of these books. Make sure that you get on Yana's show that is on Thursday, Access Wealth Nation, and get you one of these easy reads, How Money Works. Stop being a sucker. Please, please. Great, easy, simple read. My students love it. I bring it to my class, and I'm actually sharing it with this year's student, and I shared it last year with some of those students as well. But come on. Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, fantastic, wonderful person. Also, my producers, Matt and Jennifer, Jasmine, my apologies. Great individuals who always make me look my best and are always improving that what I do. I know we're doing this live, and it's always, hey, make sure this is right, that's right, this is right. Everything is on point. I love them, and I appreciate all three of those individuals. To my girl, Hair Hands. Now, this weekend, she did something, and I know I'm not supposed to go deep into because it's only an hour show, but she did something this weekend that was off the charts. She donated her time to a organization that needed some hairstyles done. She went out there and she killed it. Happy birthday to my girl, Sade niece, also turning 36, if I'm not mistaken. I know men are not supposed to tell women their women's ages, but beautiful young lady. Also been recognized 40 over 40, doing her things. I just wanted to give those shout outs to those 5 individuals because they are doing their thing. But we're getting ready to jump on in it, make it happen. So we're going to be talking about credit scores, stats, statistics, 2021. Where are you, and are you where you should be when it comes to your data? If you're not, this is the show for you this week. All right, so topic of discussion. We're going to be talking about first, general credit scores, stats. We're going to move that into the credit scores by gender, then by age, then by generation, and then ending it off with by race. And I might have 1 or 2 more surprises in there for you as well. But the whole understanding is, where are you? If you are male, are you in that higher tier of that category? If you are 18, 20, 25, 50, 60, 70, are you in that higher tier of that age group by generation? Millennials, baby boomers, the invincibles, as I like to call them, and the creators of all of it, are you in that generational gap at that higher tier? And if not, what are you going to do to get there? And obviously by race. So let's keep it moving. The FICO score, or the FICO credit score range, has 5 tiers. Credit scores are used to measure a consumer's credit worthiness. There are a few credit score models used to determine this, but The most common is the Fair Isaac Corporation rating. All right. So Fair Isaac, there is an individual, his name is Isaac, and there is an individual, his name is Fair. So that's how they meshed those two names together and came up with the FICO. FICO has a scoring model and a system. So if you are in that upper tier, 800 to 850, if you're in that middle tier, 800 to 850, golden, 0%, maybe 1%. You might have to pay 1%. Very good is the 740 to 799. You should be in that 2%. When you start dipping into that good category, 670 and 739, anywhere from 3 to 12, you're going to fall somewhere in that category, 3 to 12. And that's still too high to be paying for something, again, that somebody gets for zero. All right. If you're in that fair, you need to work on it. You got to bring those numbers up. You have to bring those numbers up. If you're in that fair category, even if you're in that good category, you need to get into that very good category, and you need to remain there, and Leverage Credit Recovery can help you get to that status and keep you there. With again, we're not doing any magic tricks. We're not doing any hocus pocus voodoo stuff. No, this is all on board over the legal understanding that most of these companies do not provide. And obviously, if you're in that poor category, you definitely need to call Tyrone. You definitely need to call someone like Tyrone, because I don't talk about any of my competitors or the individuals occupying the same space. I think they equally have the same intentions. Whether or not their intentions are as good or strong as mine, I beg to differ. I'm going to operate above board always. That's why we do what we do. That's why we have these types of educational programs, to make sure that you, as an individual, you can make an educated decision about which direction and whom you're going to choose when you decide to do something in this financial space, in this financial realm. All right, so here we are, diving into the real understanding. Average U.S. FICO credit scores from 2009 to 2019. Now, clearly, we are in 2021, heading on into 2022. We haven't caught up. They haven't caught up, and I'm sure there's some institutions out there that might be right on point. But we're going to give you the best of what we have so that you can have a gauge to be able to have a starting point. So Americans who do not know their credit scores aren't aware of how it affects their purchasing power. All right. If you're not aware of your credit score, you're not going to know what it does when you get ready to go out and buy something. Obviously, those of us who understand interest know that we're paying too much. Think about it for just a hot second. 0%, 0%, 1%. Do the math. Do the math. It's real simple. Take $100, multiply it times 1%. That's going to tell you your interest. All right. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And then as you make larger purchases, if I can get something at 0, I'd like to get it at 0. And trust me, yes, there are individuals who are savvy, smart enough. They even know how to use their credit card so well that they can purchase and still have 0% on their credit cards. I've seen it. Understand it. And now my job is to make sure that you, the consumer, you, the worthy, desired individual whose shopping powers are amazing, even though they keep saying we're having a bad economy, I don't think so. Shopping is still off the chain. It's off every possible leash that's known to man. We're still shopping. We're still buying. We're still doing. We might not be reaping the benefits. And this is where these shows come in play to help you with understanding what you buy is not your win. It's your return on your investment. That's your win. And by using debit and cash, my apologies. By using debit and cash, that's just a thank you. That's just a nice, friendly wave from that individual who's now going to deposit that into their bank account and then go out and use their credit card to restock their stores. To restock those shelves, they're going to use credit while you keep going in there using debit and cash. They keep existing and we keep struggling. It's really not that hard. All we're doing is changing, readjusting the mindset of now turning you into the CEO that you are. You're the CEO of your household. All right. Only the payment history amount owed, length of credit history, credit mix, and new credit are factored into your credit score. So those are the only 5 things that really factor into your credit score. 850 is the highest possible FICO credit rating. Only 1.2% of Americans have achieved exceptional tier. All right, we can all get there. It's really not that hard. It's how bad do you want it? 80% of financial resolutions Americans make for the new year include improving their credit scores and better handling of their credit card use. And it makes perfect sense. But don't just make the resolution if you're not going to follow through on the understanding. That is not always bad. Having a mortgage will increase your credit provided you make your payments as scheduled. And that's one of the biggest pieces of credit, is making that payment on time. 12% of Americans have a bad credit score. Score lower than 550 is what we really are speaking to those individuals. We're always speaking to every individual, but we're speaking to those who really, really are in that bottom tier that knows if they just put a little bit more into it. We understand that those wages might not be there. We understand that you're on social programs, and that's perfectly fine. We do understand that we can still get you to where, even being in those predicaments, we can still make sure that you can acquire whatever it is that you want at the lowest possible interest. It's just allowing us the opportunity, trusting in us to allow us to do what we know we can do, and we'll bring you right there to where you need to be. And home buyers will typically have a credit score average of 728. And that's what I keep telling you. 728. That's where everybody should strive to want to be at. That 728 starts opening up brand new doors. It starts making you feel so much better. There's nothing sexy about credit. There's nothing sexy about what I do here. Nothing. But there's everything sexy about that 850, that 700. There's everything clever and smart and brilliant and intelligent. So there's everything sexy about that 728 and above. When you're there, you're golden. You are golden. You are so good. So the average, live from New York. Hey there, Don. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. So 728, that highest of where you want to be to start making things really comfortable for yourself. And the national average is 711. So if you're already at that 711, you're only what? 17 points away. 17, get to that 728, and then work on getting to 750, and then work on getting higher. I'm telling you, what we provide, every educational show that we provide, is helping you strive and get to that next level. And I know that all of you can do it, because I watch myself do it. I watch my clients do it. I watch my friends do it. I watch my family do it. And it's just understanding what we have to do and how we allocate. All right, by gender. Credit scores by gender. A gender gap exists in the realm of credit, with men on the average, okay, at the top. So men are there. Nice job, men. But I'm telling you, you're not doing as well as you think you should be. 12 points typically separate men and women's credit scores across income ranges from $35,000 to $150,000. The disparities is also present when compared according to the age bracket. The score gap increases with the age as earning capacities grow. So again, if you're earning more, you probably are going to be doing much better with your credit. And if you're earning less, you're probably doing fair with your credit. But again, it's how you're using your money. Most of us will continue to use cash and debit, thinking that our win is in that purchase. It's not in that purchase. We have to transition ourselves. We have to start allocating our credit cards to specific activities. Once you start doing that, you're still going to stay on the paying on time. You're still going to stay on the bringing down the utilization. You're still going to stay on having a proper mix. You're going to make sure that you're not inquiring. And with that, obviously, your length of history is going to grow. So a medium of 12 points separate the average between both of the genders. Since the women were found to have higher debt usage because what do women do? They're the shoppers in the family. They're the ones who are going to go out where dad is probably sitting on the couch or dad is in his man cave or dad is doing all of the dad things. Women are the ones who do the grocery shopping. Women are the ones who take the kids on those shopping sprees that they need for back to school season or for Christmas when dad needs a Father's Day gift or when those gifting seasons. And we do have dads who do that as well. But for the majority of it, women are known to have a higher debt usage. Longer credit histories, increased use of credit revolvers, and higher installment balances. Men, on the other hand, exhibit higher rates of bankruptcies because we're a little bit lackadaisical when it comes to doing things in the manner in which we should. And I'm just highlighting some, but obviously if you want, I can send these educational PowerPoints to you. Just send me an email. I have no problem in sharing all of this information with you if you ever want to use it for other means and methods. And I just wanted to highlight as well, or more or less, these are all recommendations. Okay, this is not cut in stone, concrete. You have to do what we said, or you're going to fall on your face. Not at all. These are recommendations. These are for individuals who are really serious. I'm not going to sit here and say for a second that by doing this, sometimes you succeed and sometimes you don't. But if you stay consistent in how you approach this, the success is inevitable. It's just that simple. But recommendations, this is what we give on educational shows. But if you apply these recommendations and you seek out the guidance and that hand holding, because I do not mind walking you through the exact same things that I had to walk myself through, that I walk my clients through, that I walk my students through. I have zero problem. So these recommendations are backed by experience and backed by those who have gone through the process, but they still are recommendations. All right, so credit by age. There is a positive correlation between older age and higher scores. Old people do not necessarily have more money, but they have acquired expenses and experience, which has combined to their total credit score. The 60s and above age group have the highest average credit score among age groups, which is pretty cool to understand because yes, if you've worked that hard and you've worked that long, then your credit score should. So this is where I go back to, are you there? If you're in your 60s and you're not at 749, what is it that these individuals are doing that you're not doing? And we understand, again, I'm going to dive into some of these items that we probably don't have, which is a house, a car, big ticket items, higher education. So if you're not there, maybe consider thinking about some of these things. Obviously, it's clear if your income is not there either, then we have to work on getting you to that income level. But 749, if you're in that 60s, this is where you should be. All right, the age range for 50s and 59, which is average score of 706. This is closest to the national average score, which is 711. So again, 706. If you are in that 50 range to 59 range, we already said that 728 is where you want to be to buy a home, but 706, you're only 728. That's 22 points away from 728, where you start looking very attractive to lenders, meaning mortgage lenders. If you are someone renting already, and this is what I want renters to really start contemplating, start thinking about it. I call most of these individuals, and whether you're living in a luxury apartment, whether you're living in a, sorry to have to say it, but in a slumlord apartment, and the majority of these landlords are slumlords. They just take advantage. They never meet their contractual understanding, but they expect for us to meet ours every single time. It's time that we even make them understand. We do you a service and you don't do us absolutely none. So if you can't update your apartments, yes, paint them walls, change those carpets. If there's a dry rot in my bathroom, or if there's situations that are unlivable and you're just too afraid to address it, again, please reach out to Leverage Credit Recovery, call Tyrone, and I guarantee you by the time we're done, oh, you won't have those problems any longer, because we're going to put you in such a great situation that all of those, if you choose to continue to rent, will be taken care of, or we're going to put you so good in a situation that if you choose to now start looking for your own opportunities, there's going to be more than enough to be given. You're just going to have to make sure that data, I'm going to say it over and over and over and over, that data, that it adds up. If it doesn't add up, it's not going to make sense. And I'm a person who's going to make it make sense no matter to whom you're presenting it. All right, so single American males, age 21 to 40. This is where you should start looking at making sure that you get into that higher tier area. If you're not, then there's a problem. We need to sit down. We need to have these conversations. Okay, 21 to 40. We're looking at 662. That's going to get you somewhere into that 15, 18, 24%. Yes, I'm throwing some wild numbers out there, but that's what's going to happen. Those are default credit numbers. All right, because you think you got it, but in all actuality, you don't, because you're going to go out there and you're going to purchase a car. That car is going to cost you somewhere $900, $1,200 because that credit score is not there. The reason why I call them default numbers is because the person who's selling you that auto manufacturer, that credit card company, they know based on their data, their statistics, their history, they already know that if an individual who's African-American comes in with that credit score, if an individual who's Hispanic comes in with that credit score, if an individual, even white, poor people, comes in with a credit score like that, they're just waiting for them to default. Those are default numbers. Stop setting yourself up for failure. My job is to set you up for success. It's just that simple. You want to get that car? Let us help you get it, but let us help you get it at 2%. Why are you not a qualified leasee? Reason why I said it in that manner is because every commercial that you see tonight, I want you to think about those words, qualified leasee. All right. So newsflash for you, credit scores by generation. The higher credit scores for older generations can be explained in the same vein as with age. Older generations also have different attitudes towards money and debt handling. All right. It's just that simple. Older individuals had more, shall we say, opportunities with their money. Things were cheaper. So they had better opportunities to purchase homes. Again, not taking nothing away from the fact that we here in this country, sorry to have to say it, but this is the United States of broken promises. Promises made, promises never kept. And I'm going to own my part of where I didn't do my part. But I'm going to tell you my part that I didn't do is probably that. Because I went and got educated. I went and kept myself out of trouble. I went and did all of the things that you're supposed to. I became a veteran. I became an upstanding citizen. I did everything that this country and the Constitution has asked of me. So I should be able to not be handled by Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian as if I'm not worthy or if I'm irrelevant. And this is what I'm attempting to address with all of you. Credit scores based on generations share similarities with credit scores based on age, with the older generation getting the highest average credit scores. In this case, it is the silent generation, those born from 1925 to 1945. The silent generation's credit score average is 730. So that's really a cool place to be. So those of you born between 1925 and 1945, congratulations on achieving this milestone, because I think it's fantastic. Now, if you were born between that time frame and you do not have a 730, maybe we need to sit down and have a conversation, because you're leading. And due to financial or economic situations, maybe you have fallen on hard times. But there's no reason why you can't get back to those historic and wonderful numbers that you've already set. Stay that generation that's doing it for us, because I'm going to be helping the other generations get to that status. Knock, knock. Is everybody clear so far? You still with me? You still with me? Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Because as I told you, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets fun. This is what I like to do. I love to do this. I think this is the coolest part of my entire week, this Tuesday. I love all of my days because I get to do what most people don't get to do. I get to give knowledge all day long, education, knowledge, information. And that's basically what it is, information. I can't force you to do anything. I can't make you do anything. I can't twist your arm. There's nothing that I can do. All I can do is give you information, proven, trusted, valid information that's going to change your life if you apply it in the manner in which you should. Just that simple. And if you need more guidance, please, we are here. We're here. I'm here every Tuesday. Soul City Network is here every single day. They got programming on here that's going to help you get through whatever challenges, whatever issues that you might be going. There's somebody on this network that can do exactly what you thought you could not do. So continue to reach out. All right. Continue to keep doing. So let's keep it going. Just wanted to check in. All right. Here we go. Credit scores by race. Racial inequities as a consequence of borrowers with Black and Hispanic, the most impacted Blacks and Hispanics. Why? Because they don't think we are worthy, and we ourselves don't even think we're worthy because we are not applying our principles that we're learning today and have been learning for previous Tuesdays of what and how we should be using our money. Whites are leading the wage gap, followed by Asians, but the trend is reversed in credit scores, with Asians having 11 points advantage over whites. All right, but we're still not where we need to be. We as Blacks and Hispanics, again, that 701 is not 728. So our Hispanic brethren and sister still got some work to do. But if you are Hispanic and you're not there, you're not close to that 701, you need to sit down. We need to have a conversation. I got translators. I got people who can help us navigate the difficulties of a language barrier. Blacks, what is going on? 677. If we remove our dollar from this economy, Blacks and Hispanics, we'd be a third world country. I'm just going to put it out there just like that. If Blacks and Hispanics remove their dollars from this economy, and there's going to be a pledge coming up. I'm bringing it out now. I'm just going to keep watching my Facebook page, keep watching my Twitter page, keep watching my Instagram page, keep watching and wait for that pledge. There's going to be a pledge coming out, and it's going to be more targeted towards Hispanics and Blacks. And I'm always going to put in there poor white people. I have to say it, as much as it might make people cringe or it might put the goosebumps on your arms. This is an inclusive understanding. We keep attempting to separate an understanding that is an inclusive understanding. You're getting it just as bad as we are. But because of how we've allowed for the narrative to be more or less put out there to create more divide, you think we're taking something from you. And it's all a misconception. All right. But Blacks and Hispanics, we're doing it to ourselves while we're allowing them to equally harm us even more. So we got to think about how we're using that money. We've got to start reaching out to trusted institutions that can guide us through, help us through these difficult times in which we're going. But there is light at the end of this tunnel. Not only is the light at the end of the pot of gold that's at, I'm not even a leprechaun, but I'm going to be one today. Because there is a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. All right. Race has impact on a person's credit score. Asians have the highest average score of 745. Blacks have the lowest with 677. The highest average credit score of a home buyer based on minority status is 745 for Asians. Blacks and Hispanics are at the opposite end of the spectrum. So we have no other choice. Assets, owning is the best part of being able to raise that credit score. Renting doesn't do anything for your credit score. It doesn't, because number one, they don't even want to add it to, which it should be a component that's added to your credit data. Why isn't it? Because it would help, obviously, Blacks and Hispanics need to change the narrative. Need to change the way that we are being seen or viewed when it comes to our lenders and when it comes to our data. And the only way to do that is to do it in the manner in which we're doing it right now. what we're doing right now is we're having dialogue to open up that conversation that I want each of you to start having at your dinner tables. Because trust me, I'm having this dialogue with your students. If you live in Yonkers, I'm having this dialogue with your kids. So I'm leaving it up to you to take it to that next level. And then obviously, as you know, reach out, reach out, reach out, reach out. We are here. All right, so credit scores by state. 45 out of 50 states have increased their average credit score rating in 2019. All right, so that means in 43 of those 50 states, they're starting to take financial literacy a bit serious. Not where it needs to be, because we did a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we did the average, or excuse me, not the average, but the grades of the states. New York has a D grade. So we're not there. We got some work to do, but that's not saying we can't get there. But 43 out of 50 states, good job, good job. An average increase of 2 points was seen among improved scores. Now, 2 points, and this is where, again, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian are manipulating. They're using a system called eOscar that doesn't evaluate everything in the manner in which we, the consumer, understand it. And we need for them to explain it fully. And if it does it, again, if it doesn't make sense, if the math doesn't add up, they're going to have to get rid of some garbage. And I can tell you right now, there is a lot of garbage that's in the way that our credit data has to swim through in order to get, again, 2 points. Now, if I look at that wheel means it's 100 points. Again, I'll get to that wheel in just a minute, so you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But 2 points, average increase of 2 points, that's actually pretty laughable. But the increase is what I'm looking at, which is still an improvement. There is no trend that defines why some states have better credit scores and others have, and others why some are static. Factors such as cost of living, lower population rate affects how credit scores are average per state. So Minnesota, congratulations, 733. If you live in Minnesota, whether you are Black, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Asian, white, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. If you're not at 733, you need to be having a conversation with somebody. You need to be sitting down because the average in your state is 733. All right. Mississippi. Now, I'm shocked about this one. Mississippi has the lowest. Well, actually, I take that back. I'm not shocked about that one. Because Mississippi, with the leadership of Mitch McConnell, which I don't understand why Mississippi keeps voting this individual constantly into his position as a senator, if I'm not mistaken. Out of 50, although it ranks last with 667, it has increased 0.133%, which again, kudos to the increase, no question about it. But you're still one of the poorest states. And yet your senator doesn't want to do anything to help you get to that next level. So if they're not going to help you, allow us to help you. How about that? If they're not going to lift a finger, allow us to help you. And the average gain in credit scores among the states was 2 points. The largest jump was in Wisconsin, 7 points. Congrats, Wisconsin. Doing your thing, love it. But again, if your overall citizen is not where they need to be, which is at 718, this was in 2018, we need to sit down and have a conversation. We need to be talking about getting you to those levels, making sure that we are a financially stable, secure, free individual. Because if you're not, your states are not going to do it for you. You are going to have to do it for yourself. We can clearly see that in what we're being presented. Not saying that the Biden administration is doing anything wrong, not saying that the previous administration, clearly I'm not going to include that last administration. I'm talking about all the other administrations. I'm going to omit that 4 years. I'm not going to omit it so much, but it brought out the worst of us. I want to move past that last 4 years that didn't do nothing but make brothers and sisters enemies, made neighbors enemies, created more of this divide that didn't necessarily need to be anyway. So I'm going to just step on past that, move on to the other administrations. We might not have agreed on everything, but I can tell you right now, your income has, for the most part, stayed the same. Due to manipulation in how Equifax, TransUnion, Experian does what they do, it doesn't give you that ability to increase. Being that we have consumer financial protections bureaus that were created by Elizabeth Warren under the Barack Obama administration, it doesn't do what it should do. Being that we have the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, being that we have attorneys generals in states and also federal levels, they don't do what they're supposed to do. So we as citizens must hold each other accountable, and then together, the Constitution still says we the people. Together we can change what we don't like. Let's stop tolerating the intolerable. Just that simple, folks. All right, so American credit score statistics. All right, so part of adults' life is improving and maintaining a good credit rating. It's just that simple. It's part of adult life. Nearly 7 in 10 Americans have a good credit score, but there is still a portion without credit rating or a spotty record that hampers effects in credit score repair. Reason why I put repair, because I like to be able to touch on that word. There is no repair, folks. Credit repair doesn't work. It's not even possible. You can't repair credit if you have a poor management of your money. It's not that simple. You can repair a flat tire. You can repair a broken window. You can fix a broken leg. Again, I use another word. Can't fix credit either. These are not fixable nor repairable things. You can only improve these items by addressing financial disparities. Once you've addressed those financial disparities, then you start putting together a plan of action. You have to have a coach. You need these methods and methodologies to get you to where most of us are still struggling to get to, which is exceptional credit. 22% of Americans do not have a credit score. 22% of Americans do not have a credit score. That means that, again, these individuals are not credit worthy. So every time they even think about, oh, I want to get that new car, or they think about, oh, I want to move to another apartment, or they think about, oh, I want to get a credit card, 22% of them shouldn't even have that thought in their head. But it's there because of how advertisement works on our TVs. The average credit score in the United States as of the middle of 2019 was 703. Clearly, we know now it's 711. All right, credit scores in exceptional tiers are between 800 and 850. Only 21.8% of Americans have a credit score in this range. And 18% of Americans have credit scores that fall in the 850 to 669 range. That's the fair range. So look at 22% that have no credit score. 18% have a credit score in that fair range. So just those, what is that, 40%? And clearly, I'm going to take at least another 10 to maybe even 20% in those other two ranges that I know, again, over 60. And I'm just using the numbers off the top of my head along with the data that I have. The data, the stats that I have, that I'm presenting to you. If you fall anywhere in these categories that I brought up, whether it be the gender category, whether it be the age category, whether it be the state category, and you are not in that higher tier of where that average is, you need to reach out. You need to call Tyrone. You need to do something today, because if you do something today, by the time the new year comes around, I can tell you things are going to be rosier. Your data, it's all about your data. It's all about your data. Improve the data, improve the score. Improve the data, improve the score. Allocate the credit cards, improve the score. Use credit versus debit in cash, improve the score. All right, so here's that wheel that I was talking about. What's included in FICO's score compilation? What? 35% is your payment history. Now, this is what they keep telling us, but that is broken down into other components. And this is where I need Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Actually, this is where I need Congress. You had our brave, brilliant, wonderful athletes who went to Congress to talk about their former coach and sexual molestation and things of that nature. Have me on. Bring me down. I'd love to talk about this. I'd love to be able to share my insights over the past 20 years of how and why I believe. I'd love to be able to bring to you guys all of your resolutions that you've presented to us. I'm only this good because of the information that you've provided. I'm only this knowledgeable because I dig a little bit deeper than most of us will ever possibly even think about going. So 35%. But when I add this all up, it comes to 100. But how do we only increase by 2 points? So there's clearly some manipulation going on in the scoring models of what they're using. Because you can't have 100 and only give 2 increase. Again, we're using the data, we're using the stats, we're using the information that's been provided to us. All right, so 35%, let's go back into that. 35% is your overall payment history. That means if you pay on time, there should be nothing else that factors into that. If you paid on time, boom, 35% of your overall credit score. If you did what I always tell every single one of my clients, what I always recommend and suggest to anybody who's getting into this space of improving their financial understandings, utilization, amount owed, utilization, how much have I used and how much have I returned? Max it out. You're clearly used all of it. Minimum is only going to get you that far. It's about 12% if you pay the minimum. You pay half, you're teetering. Seesaw. Lenders don't like seesaws because 1 month you're here, next month you're there. 1 month you're here, next month you're there. 23%. But clearly on this graph we're seeing right here, it says 30%. So statistically, based on all the companies that I've worked with, which is quite a few, based on all of the data that I've been able to compilate, which has been quite a bit, 23% has been that magic number. So if you get that down to 23%, and I know this is debatable, it's debatable. Some say, well, what if I pay 0? Some say, well, what if I pay at 23%? Some say, well, what if I pay 7? Based on your credit score. If you're in that 600 to 699 range, you want to pay that 23%. Just that simple. If you start increasing your score, then you want to start decreasing the percentage that you're going to withhold. 0 could be that method that works. 7%, once you're in that 700 range, could be that method that works. The methodology that I use is you have to show some love. You're going to need a bigger purchase later on down the road. So if you start off giving nothing, then don't be surprised that you get nothing. All right? But if you start off with an understanding that, you know what, I might need that next car in about a year, so I'm gonna take a nice, not hefty chunk of interest, but I'm gonna pay some of that interest. It's okay. It is okay to give back something because later on down the road, that's where you negotiate. And this is where we come in again. Help you negotiate, help you walk you through all of your financial concerns by teaching you how to handle it on a dime. Walk in, walk out with what you want. It's just that simple. So 15% goes into the length of your credit history. They've changed this already. If you get a new credit card today, they're going to drop your credit history. Meaning not drop it off. They're going to reduce it. You're going to lose out. That's a penalty. But they're calling it a help to us. How does it help you if it takes your 15 years and you decide you want to get a new credit card and it drops you down to 15 years to 7 years, or it drops you down to 6 years? That's a penalty, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. That's a penalty, eOscar, the manipulative high-tech weaponry that they use to average or make our scores. That's a penalty, Congress. Folks, we got to think about these things. They don't care because they keep allowing Equifax, TransUnion, Experian to exploit us. We have to care more. All right. And this mix, again, it tells me 100%. So why do we only see 2 points increasing across the nation? There's got to be some manipulation going on there. There's got to be some deception going on there. There's got to be something that's creating the false equivalence of. All right, because these scores should be improving way more than they remain the same, or that they decrease when you do something negative. Because why is it that companies can put more negative and not put positive? Congress, can you answer that question for me? Is there anybody out there, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian? Could you please answer that question for me? You allow for companies to put negative information, but you don't generate the same understanding for positive information. Moving on to the credit mix. The credit mix means mortgage, auto loan, credit cards with logos or without logos. Logos with logos are secured credit cards, installment loans. So there are a variety of different credit products that you want to add into the mix. And if you don't have all of them, it's okay. You're just going to use some of the other ones to build that credit score. And then new credit, not inquiring. Folks, 5 inquiries per year, no more than that. 5. Yes, even when you're buying a car, because they already know what your credit score is. So don't allow for them to keep doing a credit check. Don't. Even when you're buying a mortgage, even though they claim that it falls under the same understanding as One Day, it doesn't. That's a lie. Again, Congress, a lie. Okay? They are manipulating this process. We as the people have to understand that they're manipulating it. My job is to educate you, make sure that you're very well versed on what they're manipulating, and then it's our job to confront these violators. Just that simple. It's just that simple. All right, so there you have it. Payment history. The first thing any lender wants to know is whether you paid past credit accounts on time. Credit utilization, having credit amounts and owing money on them does not necessarily mean that you are a high-risk borrower with a low FICO score. However, if you are using a lot of your available credit, this may indicate that you are overextended. So again, utilization is important. And it's equally important in understanding how they're reporting that utilization, which we'll talk about in another show. Length of credit history, 15%. How long your credit accounts have been established, how long specific accounts have been established, and how long it has been since you use certain accounts. Even if you let a card sit in there, those are 3 separate categories that they weigh in that 15%. So again, you might be thinking you're getting 15, but by the time that's all broken down, you might get 2, you might get 3. And that's highly suspect. That's highly questionable. Those 3 areas alone. If it all came, well, how would it average out only to 2 points? They got some explaining to do. As Ricky Ricardo would say to Lucy, Lucy, you have some splaining to do. Okay, they got some splaining to do. So credit mix, 10%. Your mix of credit cards, retail accounts, installment loans, financial company accounts, and mortgage loans. All right, so it's a mix. Having a nice mixture of allows for lenders to see, wow, we can do business with this person because every mix has a different quantified value, but it all adds up to 10. And again, it's to help improve. And then your new credit or inquiries, another 10%. Opening several credit accounts in a short amount of time represents a greater risk, especially for people who do not have long credit histories. Do it in stages, do it in allocation. And the best way to get new credit without getting hit with this inquiry is secured credit cards. If you missed that show, go back, look up on Soul City, go back. I did a segment on secured credit cards. If you need me to send you a list of secured credit cards, hit me up on my cell, send me a email, go to Leverage Credit Recovery on Facebook. Also go to Soul City, and they'll be able to exchange that information. But whatever it is that you need, whatever it is that you as consumers need, our job is to help you. Our job is to fulfill that gap that's been left there for companies like mine to get out there and educate. If there are any nonprofit organizations looking for a financial component, please Help us help you help your communities. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do. That's why we have signed on. That's why we brought ourselves and put ourselves out there. My very first show, I was nervous, sweating, probably couldn't even read half or was stumbling over. And even today, still have those hiccups and mistakes. But it's okay. It's okay. I learned from you. I learned through you. And my job now is to provide for you, filling in those gaps where we know that companies like mine, we know that the Dr. Yana B's, we know that Soul City Networks, platforms like this, even my niece who's now blowing up. You got to start somewhere. And this is where we're asking you to start. All right. So thank you for joining today's financial workout. I hope everybody was able to walk away with some real understandings of what you have to do. We're doing what we need to do. And we're going to continue to keep doing what we need to do. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time. And let's discuss and analyze together. How do we do that? Hit us up on that website, leveragecreditrecovery.com. Leveragecreditrecovery.com. There's a section right there where you can introduce yourself to the CEO, which is me. You're going to get me. You're going to be able to talk to me. Call AT&T and try to talk to the CEO. Call any of these large companies. Jeff Bezos, hey, I want to talk to you, bro. I shop at Amazon all the time. Let's have a conversation. It's not going to happen. He's too big. He's too bad. He won't talk to little people like us. But me, as a CEO, I want to talk to all of you, every single last one of you. You got a credit concern? You have a concern that is bothering you, keeping you up at nights? Hit me up on my website. All right? Hit me up on my email, leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. We don't mind. I don't mind. Hit me up. Let me know what the concern is. I guarantee you by either the end of that conversation or by the end of that email, you're going to have a concrete suggestion that you can put forth. And I guarantee you put it forth. The results that you're going to get back are going to be surprising. Or my apologies for that typo. It's 805. My apologies. It's 805. 428-9424. 805-428-9424. And this has been another one of those Tuesdays, another fantastic day. I really appreciate everybody who took the time, making that time to get out, show us that love. Really means a lot. I know I got about 3 more minutes. So if there's, actually one says 3, another one says, doesn't matter. I got about another 40 seconds to thank everybody for tuning in, to give that love to everybody who does on a regular basis. I appreciate you like nobody's business. It's always great to be able to come online to do what I do every single Tuesday. I hope that you walk away with a lot of information. I know at some point we're going to get to the Q&A pieces, but it's just I get so caught up into it. And if you have questions at any point of these shows, by all means, shoot those comments in. You can also send those comments and questions into Soul City Network. Also, please leverage credit recovery. Do not hesitate. We want to hear from you. I build my shows based off of how you interact with me, and also equally because I know what you need to be able to get you there. I want to thank you, everybody, for taking the time, making the time. Appreciate you immensely. Stay safe, social distance, wear the mask, adhere to the science. It's only science, people. It's not that serious. All right. I appreciate you. Love you, America. Be safe.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.